Jane Havyus, a normal high school student who doesn't have many friends. Happy New Year's, guys! My name is Ben and I talk about anime. And yeah, guys, I know, my English is so bad, but I hope you understand me. Well, subscribe to my channel and enjoy watching this video. Let's go! He spends most of his days in class by himself, daydreaming. He likes it that no one pays attention to him and is actually happy to have a quiet life. His all change when one dizzy is Zidane. The most beautiful girl in school comes up to Jane during class. She tells him that she is pregnant with their child and they should get married. Jane is shocked by this, as they have never spoken before. All of his classmates get angry at him and chasing around the school. Jane has to hide to avoid them, but Zara always manages to find him. She really thinks that she is 3 months pregnant. Jane tries to explain that this is not possible, but she doesn't listen. Later, while Jane hides in the school bathroom, the girls from gym class also express their love for him. Jane realizes that he's now become a harem king and he doesn't know why. Several other beautiful girls find him and tell him that they are in love with him. He doesn't know any of them. See, it brings Jane home to her giant mansion, where her security guards chase him around because she tells them that he got her pregnant. Jane finds evidence that Zaid just wants to spend time with her father and eat lunch. After 2 days of spending time together, her father comes and tries to get rid of junk with his security guards. Jane then explains that she should have lunch with his daughter and not be so cruel. So his father sees the error of his ways and promises to make it up to his daughter. It is then revealed that a magical being called Maitata was actually behind everyone falling in love with Genzi amid a wish, and May thought granted her that wish. Jane thinks that his life will now finally be normal again, but he realizes that still every girl in school wants him, including Zia. Suddenly, during classes, scary childhood friend shows up and kisses Jane. Her name is really Obian, and during their childhood she always thought of Jenks as her rival, until she fell in love with him. Zia sees this and gets jealous, so now the girls will have to fight over Jen, who really doesn't want to be involved and just wants peace. Shumanteng also falls in love with Jen, and she loves doing cosplay. Jen and she even have a moment where she expresses her feeling, and Zia notices this. Zia, wanting to get closer to Jane, thinks that she also likes cosplay. One day, Zia comes up with an idea that during the next cosplay competition, Jane should dress up like a cat and go there. Jane dresses up as a female cat. Even if he hates the idea, she would also dress up, and this is very important to her, but girls from school bullying her passion towards cosplay. Eventually, Jane goes on stage in his cat cosplay and tells Chohan that she must be proud of her passion for cosplay. She falls off the upper stage, but with the help of Matata, Jane manages to catch her. In the meantime, Julia hears the girls who bullied Sienna and she attacks them. Jay goes to visit his teacher, Jairam, but when he gets there, she's wearing a revealing blue dress that makes everything awkward. She's also developed feelings towards Jen and tries to seduce him, but gets out of there. Jen has flashbacks of his childhood and she when they were always competing with each other and fighting in the present issue and crying alone in the rain. He comes to hold her and she reveals that her ex-boyfriend has returned and she is scared. Jen tells her that he will be there for her. The following day at school, Jen tells to Meitada ex-boyfriend is the reason she is so aggressive now. Suddenly, 2 small children jump on Jane and call him daddy. He's confused, and then another female student arrives to make his life even more complicated. The girl introduces herself as Lynn, and she thinks that her 2 children are from her relationship with Jen. He goes into panic and almost passes out. He sends Lynn and her kids away and confronts Matata about the spell. She explains that a Cupid's contract is someone which that is not fulfilled, will manifest itself in a strange way, so the children are real. Jen cannot believe that this happened, and he wants to figure out what what Lin knew and wished for. He goes to talk to her and tries to explain that her kids are at least 7 years old, and Jin and Lin are barely 20. They cannot be their kids. Meanwhile, Zia is preparing a date for her and Jin, and they go to an amusement park that also shows up there with her kids. And many misunderstandings happen. James shocked to see how beautiful Zia really is, and he's even more confused when he starts to flirt with him. He knows that since her wish was granted, that she will have no more feelings towards him, but it seems that she really likes him. A photographer tries to take their picture, but both of them are very nervous. Jen has to go take care of Lin's day age, confronted by Sherwin. Sia pretends like she isn't on a date with Jen. Meanwhile, Jen decides to try be a responsible father for his new magical created children. He and Lin have some conflict, as he is not allowed to meet her mother. Jen spends some time with her and the kids, and they even take a family photo. At the end of the day, Jen figures out that he has to do something about this entire harem situation. Jen goes to see his old friend at the police station. He needs to find a phone number to call any member of Lin's family. He has found out that Lin's father left her many years ago, and she must miss him. He managed to find several phone numbers, but Jen doesn't know which one is the correct one. Jen later returns home, and his parents tell him that he will have to become a man tonight. Suddenly, cars pull up to their apartment building, and Zula shows up and forcibly takes Jane to his room. She wants to consummate their marriage, but Jane manages to escape her grasp. She stays the night and constantly harasses Jane, but he refuses to sleep with her. The following day, Jane manages to contact Len's father and tells him about his grandchildren. Later, he meets with Lin and the kids, and they go for a walk. Just before Lin crosses a street, a giant truck is seen racing towards her. Lin's father gets a message that she has ended up in the hospital, so he races to see his daughter after so long. Meanwhile, Jen also gets a shocking call, as well as witching. It all make their way to the hospital. Finally, Lin's family arrives, thinking that his daughter is in a critical condition, but he finds her in a hallway, totally fine. The two have a tearful reunion, and it's revealed that when his truck almost hit, Lin and Jen jumped into and pushed her out of the way, and he is currently in the hospital bed. While unconscious, Jean meets his two children, who inform him that the magical will soon end, and they have to leave. They show him their coloring book of their memories, and then they disappear forever. Jean wakes up in a hospital bed and reunites with his friends. For the next couple of days, he has to recover and rivalry starts among the girls. Julia thinks that Jean belongs to her, but Zia and Shui oppose her. They all start to argue with each other. Jean and Mai today get transported inside another magical world. There they meet Sandy, a magical girl who also likes Jean, and it's revealed that Sandy is actually in a coma, lying in a hospital bed, but her spirit has created a new immagnativity world. Jean travels with her through this world, and they spend some time together. After Jay returns to the real world, he thinks that maybe Sandy doesn't want to wake up and just wants to be in the magical world. He later decides to help her and gets her to finally wake up from her long coma. Back to the real world, Jean then realizes that Sandy has an agent who is basically in charge of her life to finally set Sandy free. Jen blackmails his agent into letting her make her own decisions. Sandy has finally woken up and reports are all around the hospital. Jen manages to sneak into her hospital room, and the two hug. Sandy then goes on a special trip all around the world with May. Today the two talk about Jean and how much he is. Meanwhile, Jean goes on a special date with Zia. They go shopping for laundry, which causes both of them to blush. Later Sandy meets her old friend, who betrayed her, and they decide to try to repair their friendship. Matata is confronted by the mysterious chocolate milk, who creates the Cuban chocolate she uses in her spells. He wants to punish her for breaking the rules of Cuban magic, but decides to spare her. While on their date, Zara and Jean run into a police officer, and Jean gets sad. His father was a police officer, and he left in a long time ago. Jean and Zia talk together in the park, and Jean finally tells her his life story. When he was really young, his parents has no time die for him, and his police officer father did seem to care. One day, criminals come inside Jane's house, and he calls the police, but his father did not come. Since that day, Jane has lived alone, and his teacher, Ren, is the only one who sometimes cares for him. So he gets emotional, and she tells Jane that she wants to help him achieve his dreams, be with him. From a distance, Matata watches all of this, and she gets emotional as well. Matata flies away and remembers all of her moments with Jane, and realizes that she also has feelings for him. A camping trip is happening in the high school, and Zia wants to be paired up with Jean, so she gets him to sign a special map paper, so they end up in the same room. This was a plan formed by Zia and Schumann. What they doesn't know is that Lin also has the same plan, so the three of them end up in the same group as Jean. The camping trip arrives and Jean carries all their bags. They have fun, but suddenly Zoya shows up from her helicopter. She attacks the girls and wants to keep them away from Jean. During the battle, they unhook and fall into the river, and Jean has to save them. Meanwhile, Len and Hurley get lost, and while trying to find their friends, Lin tells Julie that Jean will never forgive her if she keeps hurting his friends. At the end of the day, all of them are reunited, and Julie begs Jen to never leave her. The following day, their campsite, Zoe tries to once again kiss Jean, but she is interrupted by Ashwin, who starts to argue with her. They still manage to have a good time on the trip, and after they return, Zoya, ex-boyfriend, arrives in town. Satya and Jen talk about him, and he reveals that this boy actually made Julie unstable, like she is today. 30 years she was pretty calm and normal, but this boy wanted to embarrass her during a New Year's party, so she lost her mind. Since then, she has been angry and crazy. Jean also promises Zia that he doesn't have feelings for Julie anymore. Julie is eventually kidnapped by her psychotic ex-boyfriend, who takes her to an abandoned warehouse. Jean arrives at the warehouse, but he knows that it will be dangerous. He tells me today to film the whole situation, so they have evidence. Matata is very worried that he will get hurt. Jean jumps into the warehouse and confronts the crazy ex-boyfriend. As this facts, he tries to fight them off, but he gets beaten up. One of the gang members tries to hit Jean with a chair, but Julie jabs him and takes the damage. She then once more protects Jean. Julia remembers their friendship and rivalry over the years as she starts to bleed out. The police come and Julia is taken to the hospital. She manages to recover and Shane visits her. He tells her that from now on he will always protect her. All the girls also rise to visit Julia, but they get angry when she once again tries to take Jean all for herself. Suddenly, another girl shows up. Her name is Lin Zero, and she's Jean's cousin, who also loves him. She starts to make fun of the girls, as seems them all the competition. Sandy also shows up, and Lin is such a big fan of her, and she cannot be angry. Later it's revealed that Lin took care of Jean when he was alone, but she has to go back to America soon. Before she flies off, Jean tells her that he is okay now. Has friends, she doesn't have to worry about him. May try to tell Jean that their adventures are not yet over. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel. Well, you have been with you. See you later. Bye bye.